Yes, we have a socialist in America
And as Cubans, we've seen this before.
for many years.
Today, we are going to give you guys our opinion, our reaction, and what might happen in New York City after the historic mayoral race when Zoran Mamdani won the seat as an open socialist. So it comes as no shock that many of our followers have asked us specifically to react to this news as Cubans, how we feel about it, what our reactions are, and what we think might happen in America after this. So Yoel, what was your reaction when you first found out about Zoran Mamdani? Did you think he was going to win?
I don't know if you remember 4 years before, when the beginning, living here, we travel, whatever. I told you one day, I don't like how the American people talking about the socialism or communism inside. And you told me, no, whatever, forget it. We are American people. And understand, in that time, I was understand. But I never forget that in my life. Now, it was a reality for me.
What, were you in shock?
I wasn't really in shock because I so glad you and me working in the YouTube channel to like try to show the people how is the people like me coming from the communist country, you know, how is the life, how when they coming here, how my life transformed and good, how can dreaming and better. When I saw that in New York, red flag said, what are you doing?
Right.
What the heck are you doing?
Yeah. And for me, I don't know, maybe some of you guys don't know this, but I have my degree in political theory. I've read all of the works from capitalism, socialism, communism, fascism, all the isms. I am deeply passionate about these different theories. And I really want to get into this topic because a lot of people are saying, and I'm sure people in the comments already typing away, well, he's not a socialist, he's a democratic socialist. And I really kind of want to explain that.
For me, it's a communist.
Yeah, well, but let's hear it from Zoran Mamdani's own words of the differences between what he thinks a socialist is and a democratic socialist. And I think it's gonna surprise you. It surprised me.
Yeah, explain the difference. What is the difference between a Democrat, a democratic socialist, and a communist?
Well, I'm a democratic socialist who's also a Democrat.
Right.
And when I say I'm a democratic socialist, I explain it in the words of Dr. King from decades ago, who said that call it democracy or call it democratic socialism, there must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country.
So first things first, he never answered the question. What's the difference between a democratic socialist, a socialist, and a communist? Now, let me actually answer that question. Socialism is an economic theory that focuses on that the workers in a class society own the means of production. And so when we put democratic socialist on top of it, it just means that those elections, the democratic way of governing a country, are still maintained. For example, Venezuela is a democratic socialist country because they still have elections. And in many ways, the Cuban regime says that they are democratic socialists because they still, in Cuba, you still have elections. In Cuba, of course, it's fake. I mean, you and I can say, we know it's fake. We know they say that anybody can join, but it's really just the Communist Party that is involved in the elections. But what I'm trying to say is that democratic socialist still is a socialist because socialism is an economic theory, an economic theory that centers around the means of production being owned by the working class. So people often get mistaken when we talk about democratic socialism and socialism. For me, they're the same thing. It's just one wants to maintain elections.
We are Cuban, like you say many times, we are Cuban. We know specifically exactly how is that like a equal distribution what's going on.
Yes.
Because in Cuba we don't have that. It's just only one rice or spouse rice for one family. That's you talking distribution? No, that's poverty. Remember Fidel Castro in the beginning, how he lied the people. I want to do this. I never think in socialism, nothing like that. We wanted open the market, everything. He liked the people in many ways. Sora Mamdani is the same. Liar. That's it.
I mean, personally, for me, I don't think he's going to be able to implement any of the socialist policies, any of the economic. When I talk about socialism, it's always economics. I don't think he's going to be able to implement the free buses. I don't think he's going to be able to implement the housing. There's just absolutely no way. And all of this is, quite frankly, described. I got it here. The Communist Manifesto. I've read it several times. Theoretically, Marx has never been able to prove his theory correctly because there's never been communism implemented anywhere in the world. Human Action by Ludwig von Mises is the antithesis to this book. Quite opposite. And in this book, it will show you that it is impossible to create free housing without a market-based system, because who determines what the price of a home is? Who determines what the fair and equal just price of that home is? It has to be the state. That's why the state always devolves into an authoritarianism state.
Yeah. How many countries tried to?
How many countries have tried to do this? Cuba failed. Vietnam failed. China had to open up its markets, so now it's succeeding.
Failed.
But Maoism failed. Soviet Union failed.
North Korea
failed.
Venezuela
failed.
Russia.
Zimbabwe failed. So how many times do we have to see this?
10 countries.
I mean, even more. So how many times have we tried this theory? It has never reached its ultimate stage, which is called communism.
For me, I have two opinions. I think he using that ideology for taking the power, like being the good position of the government. Or he wanted, in reality, use that politician for a new movement. That's my two opinions. He maybe lied the community for taking the power, and the mayor of New York, the big city, or in the effect, will become the socialist government.
Now, what people will say is, no, he's not any of that. He's a democratic socialist like Norway, like Sweden.
The people say that?
Yes, they always say that. But let's hear it.
No, that's impossible.
Let's hear it from the horse's mouth, the president of Denmark, a Scandinavian country, what he feels about their country being called socialist.
Clear. Denmark is far from a socialist planned economy. Denmark is a market economy. The Nordic model is an expanded welfare state which provides a high level of security for its citizens. But it is also a successful market economy with much freedom to pursue your dreams and live your life as you wish.
So you see there, straight from the horse's mouth, the Scandinavian countries are not socialists. They are more capitalist than the United States. What they do is they extract from the market economy to redistribute social services. Now, this is very different from a socialist who wants to have the workers own the means of production, which essentially means nationalizing all industry and all private industries.
Like Cuba. Now it's in decay, poverty, everything in bad way. That's the one you taking on talking about the socialists. The only word for me is poverty. And that's why the Cuban people risk their life to try to come here to taking a cheap boat and risk their life in the ocean, the sea, try to be here in this country because they have it. I always put it in this. I talking to many of my friends. I said, for the Cuban people, our dream is a market. It's going to the market. It's crazy when you talking to the American people. You say, you know what is my dream? Going inside to the market, buy a new car, take a good vacation. You have a lot of food in your fridge. That's our dream. For you, it's different. It's like a American family, everything, good health. And when you realize how is this possible? The Cuban people risk their life or only go to the market.
And it's very sad to see that a lot of people have been drawn to this. Now, I understand why they've been drawn to it, because life is really tough, right?
Yeah.
Life is really hard for many people, and the empty promises of many politicians. And here
That's
comes
true.
Zoran, a fresh new guy, saying things that are quite different and quite radical. And so people want to take the chance on him to see what happens. I just think, unfortunately, economic policies take a really long time to settle in. It's not just 4 years, it's not just 8 years, it's decades. Coming from two Cubans that have lived in socialism, because Cuba is a socialist state, and a capitalist one here in the United States, well, some sort of capitalism.
We warned you, New
We are
Yorker
warning you.
people, be careful and God bless you. That's the only way right now. I always say, God bless America, because this is a beautiful country.